Welcome to Priceless Takes.
Welcome back, everyone, to episode 20 of Priceless Takes. I am your host, Luka Price. Joining me today, once again, is NFL guru Gabe Golden. Gabe, welcome back to the show. How are you?
Doing good. How are you?
I am fantastic, and what a weekend we have, ladies and gentlemen. The Super Bowl finally is here. We have been waiting since October, or for many have been waiting since this time last year for the next Super Bowl to be back. It is live in Arizona on Sunday evening. We have the Kansas City Chiefs taking on the Philadelphia Eagles. For the first part of this episode, Gabe and I will be giving you our Super Bowl predictions. We will get into hopefully some heated debates, and we will give our predictions, both scoreline and MVP. Following the break, we will have Tyson and Oscar back, and we will give you our thoughts on the Kevin Durant trade, which I know many are surprised by. Myself, I was actually with Gabe the other night when this trade broke news, and I think, Gabe, it was probably an understatement to say I was surprised. I was probably more shocked.
Yeah. Yeah, I read there was like a little sneak peek that said there might be a trade, and you were just like, nah, it's not happening. And like 2 minutes later, it comes through.
Yeah, so Kevin Durant traded, the Lakers made some big moves. We'll get into that on our second part of the show. To begin, Super Bowl Sunday is arrived, and this is a matchup for the ages, one of the really anticipated matchup across the NFL. We have the Kansas City Chiefs and Philadelphia Eagles. Right now, Philadelphia is still favored by playing 1.5 point favorites. They are minus 105 favorites to Kansas City, plus 120. The over-under points margin is 51. Now, we'll get into that in a minute, but there are some key matchups for this game. Obviously, Mahomes will be a little bit restricted, but all reports are is that he can do the majority of things that he will be able to do in a regular game. I think the other thing that helps is that Arizona is quite warm for the most part, and I think the cold certainly doesn't help you when you're running around on that ankle. So that's going to be a big matchup, the Mahomes versus Hurts matchup. Who's going to play better? Who's going to lead their team to victory? Another big matchup, there's a few. We have Chris Jones versus that Philadelphia offensive line, because Chris Jones against the Cincinnati Bengals wrecked that game, quite frankly. And he was probably, I think, although Mahomes had a great game, I think Chris Jones for me was the MVP of that game for his ability to stop Joe Burrow on the other side. On the other side, we have the Kansas City offensive line versus Philadelphia's hellacious pass rush. 70 sacks on the season, the tied third most all time for a season. 70 sacks. Kansas City's offensive line was the third best offensive line for giving up sacks. Only 27 sacks given up on the season. Another big factor, the Chiefs running backs, if they can get something going against the Philadelphia rushing defense. This has been their weak point. The wide receiver battle. A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith. What impact are they going to have against this Chiefs secondary, who they had their moments. They gave up some big plays to Jamar Chase and T. Higgins in the AFC Championship game. Will this happen again? And finally, Travis Kelce versus the entire Philadelphia defense, quite frankly, because he is going to be all over the field. And if they can't neutralize him, they're going to have a hard time coming out of this game with a win. Obviously, the Kelce Bowl. Jason Kelce on one side, the All-Pro center for the Philadelphia Eagles, and then they have Travis Kelce, the All-Pro tight end for Kansas City. Two brothers. Now, Gabe, I want to know from you not only who wins this game, but I want to know by what score line, and I also want to know who you have taking out the Super Bowl MVP and why.
All right. So I know me and you've been talking about it, and I was on the Chiefs side. I've been on the Chiefs side since after the Cincinnati game, but then I kind of switched over in the past couple of days. I got a gut feeling that Philly's taking this game, simply because I think Kansas City's defense cannot stop the Eagles' offense, as well as Philly can slow down Kansas City a little bit, because obviously their defense, their secondary is crazy good, and the receivers for Kansas City aren't all that. But I think it's going to be 27-24, so close to that 51-point over-under. I agree, right around that line. But I'm going to go 27-24 and Jalen Hurts MVP because he's quarterback. I think he'll ball out.
Really? You think he'll ball out, even though he's had basically nothing to do with his entire playoff run? He's going to come and ball out all of a sudden.
Yeah, he hasn't. Well, he hasn't needed to. He hasn't needed to in the games they've played so far. I mean, they played the Giants. They got there. They had a good year, but they're not a true playoff team. And then they played, Brock Purdy, and they played.
Well, they didn't really play Brock Purdy, did they?
Yeah,
they didn't
exactly.
really play him.
What was that guy's name that came in?
Josh Johnson? I think it was Josh Johnson.
Yeah, Josh Johnson. And then they played Brock Purdy with one arm and threw the ball like 3 times. So he hasn't needed to throw the ball. But he's going to need to throw the ball to keep up with Mahomes, obviously. And whenever he's needed to score a lot of points, he's scored a lot of points this year. So I think he balls out. Devontae Smith, big day. A.J. Brown, big day. I would argue Devontae Smith probably has the better day because more focus will go to A.J. Brown, I think. So I think Devontae Smith might be left a little bit in one-on-one coverage more often.
Yeah, look, I think if the Eagles are to win this game, I think it's going to be because, one, Hassan Reddick wrecks the game, and I think he will be my MVP on the Eagles side if they do win. But what chance do I see of that happening? Absolutely zero, Gabe. Listen.
Really?
No, and this is what it really just comes down to. And I'm actually, kudos to you for going with your gut, but we like to call what you've been doing, we like to call that a flip-flopper. Because you have been all over the shop with this matchup, and I have been firm from the beginning. Patrick Mahomes is winning this game, okay? He is winning this game. And there's a couple of things it comes down to. One, you seem to have a lot more trust in Jalen Hurts than I do. And quite frankly, my trust factor for Jalen Hurts in this game, I trust him, but I don't trust him enough. He was missing wide open receivers against the San Francisco 49ers last week. Now, I know the Kansas City Chiefs defense is not the San Francisco defense, but in the past 2 playoff games, their defense has given up 2 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. Now that is a ratio that I'm willing to be very confident in going into this Super Bowl. 2 touchdowns to 3 interceptions. They have done an incredible job for the most part. They've given up some big plays, and I think that there's a potential for them to give up some big plays. But especially in that AFC Championship game, we saw when they needed to make a play on Joe Burrow, they made a great play. They had that tip drill interception. They had a great play. And I think that situationally, they're going to come back and make a big play, okay? The other thing that I think is just that I don't think that Philadelphia is going to be able to contain Mahomes. The one thing that I think has benefited Mahomes having this ankle injury is that he's able to get the ball out quick. He's been getting that ball out really quick. And Travis Kelce is the best receiving tight end in the league. But he is so good at just finding little pockets of space and getting open within 2 to 3 seconds. And I think right now, Philadelphia technically are a top 5 team playing against tight ends. You know who else was a top 5 team playing against tight ends? The Cincinnati Bengals. And Travis Kelce had 7 receptions, 78 yards, and a touchdown. Now, I think he could have a bigger game than that. But the other thing I also know is that Marquez Valdez-Scantling also had a $116 against the Cincinnati Bengals last week. And this is another thing that comes into play. Can the Chiefs wide receivers step up? I don't know if it's going to be MVS, but I think someone, whether it's Juju, whether it's Kadarius, I think one of them has the potential to step up for them. But I just think that ultimately the greatness of Patrick Mahomes is going to supersede the greatness of Jalen Hurts and the greatness of the Philadelphia defense. And this is why I have Mahomes winning. I also think Mahomes will win Super Bowl MVP. I was tempted to take a Chris Jones or a Travis Kelce. I like, sometimes to switch it up. But I think if the Chiefs do win this game, they're going to want to give it to Mahomes. They will. It'll be the first Super Bowl, first quarterback to win a Super Bowl since 1999, winning MVP in the same season, since Kurt Warner did that. And my score prediction for you, I'm going to go. I think it's going to be higher scoring. I think you said 27-24 or 30-27. You said 27-24.
27-24.
I'm going to go 31-28. I'm going to go 31-28 is going to be my score. But I think that there is a chance that the Eagles lay an egg in this game. And I think there is potential for that to happen. Purely because I do not think. I think you need to have faced your battles, and I don't think the Eagles are really battle tested, and that's the only reason I think that it's going to let them down. So your response to that game?
The only thing, one big part of me picking Philly with, like you said, they won't be able to contain, Mahomes all that well. A big part of mine is I think they will focus a lot on Kelsey because, you have to, and he's going to get open. Kelsey's going to have at least, 10, 12 targets. He's going to have a big day. But if they are focusing on him a good bit, well, like what you said, if one of those receivers don't step up because, they're middle of the league receivers. They're decent receivers, but we have seen games with MVS at Kansas City and at Green Bay where he just does not catch the ball. So yeah. I'm worried that he might have one of those games. Juju, he has his ups and downs. So I kind of feel like these receivers might lay an egg, kind of how you think Philly is. I think they might struggle against this secondary, and it's going to be Kelsey by himself. And the freak of nature he is, he can only do so much. I think he'll have a big day, but I'm worried about the receivers for them. I could see Pacheco and McKinnon doing well out of the backfield, though, because obviously we talked about, Philly's rush defense is not what it has been the past couple years. So I wouldn't be surprised them having a good game. So I can absolutely see Kansas City winning the game and see like how you described it, but I don't think that Kansas City can really slow down. Because even if Jalen Hurts isn't passing the ball well, he can run the ball fantastic. We've seen that. Miles Sanders can go for a big game. All their running backs have been playing really well. And then I think just right now, Devontae Smith, outside of Kelsey, I think he's the best pass catcher in the Super Bowl. He has been showing up when needed. He's been balling out. And they still have Dallas Goedert, too, at tight end. So I just think there's too much Philly offense for Kansas City's defense. And that's the only thing that I'm worried about. I understand Mahomes is great, but Mahomes and Kelsey, that's their two big names. Philly has a little bit stronger of an offense, I would say, than Kansas City. Especially right now. They've put up, 38 points? Have they put up 38 in both games?
No, 31 was San Francisco, 31-7.
Yeah, so they're putting up over 30 in the playoffs. We've seen them put up over 40 a few times this year. So I just think they're running smooth right now. And I'm not worried about Jalen Hurts missing throws and stuff because, like I said, I don't think he really felt the pressure to go out there and, really truly lock in because he has not needed to. And that may,
but he's going to feel the pressure this weekend. I think we can both agree on that.
Exactly. So that's my point is he's going to feel that extra, I need to make sure I'm playing my best or we might not win. And I think, he's been in big games before in college. And this year he's had a little bit of playoff experience. So I think he'll and
in the majority of those college games, how did he play? I don't know. There might have been one national championship where,
Yeah.
I don't know. You tell me.
That's true. He didn't do well, but he's older now. He hasn't shown that he gets nervous in big games yet in the NFL. Yes, this is his third year, I think. It's his third year? Third or fourth? But he's
starting.
Yeah, when given the opportunity, I think he's playing really well. I have a lot of faith in Hurts, which I thought you did actually until this conversation.
No,
I thought you were a little bit more bigger of a Hurts fan.
I like Hurts. He's a good guy, but I sort of feel about him the same way I feel about Brock Purdy, to be honest. I just trust Jalen Hurts more than I do Brock Purdy. I think that Jalen Hurts, ultimately, I think this is his game where when push comes to shove, I just don't think he's going to make the play. And I think Mahomes is going to make the play because ultimately most Super Bowls come down to which quarterback can protect the ball and which quarterback scores 7 and which quarterback scores 3. Now, I just think that similar to how, I'm not comparing Hurts to Jimmy Garoppolo, but similar to how Jimmy Garoppolo had that chance and he missed that wide open throw in the Super Bowl a couple of years ago to Debo that would have scored them a touchdown. That's the same. I feel similar about Jalen Hurts. That if he has that play where that can either be the make or break for the Eagles, I don't trust him converting that play. And that's what I think is going to hold the Eagles back in this game. But look, there is a couple of things you brought up. Pacheco McKinnon, that's going to be an interesting standpoint. Philadelphia rush defense has been suspect. 4.4 yards per carry. They've given up in the playoffs. Now, Pacheco didn't have his best game last week running the ball. He had a great game. He had a great game receiving the ball out of the backfield, though. But I think the Eagles' defense are going to be very quick to swarm on those screen passes, similar to how they did against San Francisco last week. I think they'll be ready for that because they know Mahomes is going to have to get it quickly out of his hands. I think they're going to be ready for the screen passes. But listen, this Super Bowl for Mahomes just eerily reminds me of when they first versed the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And if there's one thing I know about Mahomes is that he is going to come in with a game plan and knows what he has to do to win. Now, the Kansas City Chiefs made it their top priority after getting absolutely whitewashed by Tampa Bay 2 years ago to upgrade their offensive line. And I think they've done that sufficiently where that they will be able to neutralize this Philadelphia pass rush. The only thing that I see is that Mahomes is 8-11 against the blitz in the playoffs, okay? That is staggering. Now, the other side of this is, I know Nick Sirianni is the type of guy that knows his strengths and plays to his strengths and sometimes doesn't look at the stats. And he knows he's got a good pass rush, and until Mahomes picks him apart, he is probably going to blitz him out of the gate, similar to how they did San Francisco last week. So I think that if Kansas City weathers the storm early and doesn't give up cheap points, that they will come on top in this game. But Andy Reid also is 3-0 against Philadelphia in his career, which is another interesting thing I found. He actually fired Nick Sirianni off his staff when he got there in 2013. So from a coaching standpoint as well, this matchup is something that's going to be exciting. But all I know is that Mahomes right now has the chance to put himself, if he wins a second Super Bowl within 5 years of starting, 2 Super Bowls, 2 MVPs, he has already put himself in the top echelon of quarterbacks as far as I'm concerned. I'm not saying he's the best quarterback, but he is in the top echelon with some of these great players,
sure.
Especially how he got there, overcoming that Joe Burrow voodoo doll hanging over his head. You know, I just think that he has something to prove. And I think that if there truly is an NFL script, they will write it for Mahomes to win. If there is an NFL script, which I don't think there is.
That's true.
But I think that if there is one, Mahomes will win this game. And I just think that he's learned his lesson from Tampa Bay, and he's going to make the right plays. He's been there. He's battle-tested. He's done that. And, you know, if Tom Brady was on the other side of this Philadelphia team instead of Jalen Hurts, I think I would take Philadelphia in this game. But I think ultimately it's going to come down to Mahomes and Jalen Hurts, and I think Mahomes got the big play in him, and I think that Hurts, unfortunately, is going to come up short.
So do you have, like, what's your scale 1 to 10, your level of concern for the pass rush of Philly? Like, do you think they get to Mahomes twice, 3 times? I mean, do you think it sounds like you think he's just, you know, they're
not going
to get to him much at all.
There is concern, but I think that the concern I have for the pass rush, I'll put it at a 6 because I think they're going to get to him. But I think Mahomes, I think personally the Chiefs are going to come up with a very good game plan to protect Mahomes. And there was times 2 weeks ago, where he was running, he was scrambling, and that was towards the second half, which does concern me a little bit because if Philadelphia can adjust, and this is where I think the coaching matchup comes into it, is which coach is going to make adjustments. But ultimately, I think the second week of recovery is going to do wonders for Mahomes. And I think that he's going to be able to do most things unless he gets concussed or something really bad happens. I think that Kansas City are going to hold down the fort. And I think that they're going to win. I just think the greatness of Mahomes is ultimately the thing that it comes down to. But, Gabe, we will have to go in a second. I do want to know, you have the under on the points. Oh, no, you have the 51. I don't know. I guess that's over or under. You have 51 exactly. If you had to pick one to go over or under, do you think we're going over? Do you think we're going under? If you had to go one way.
I would probably go over. just right over, kind of similar to how you are, because you're sitting at what, 59?
Yeah.
Or something like I would go, somewhere around 54, 55 at the most. I don't think it's going to be a crazy shootout, but obviously both these offenses are going to put up points.
Yeah. Yeah, listen, one thing's for sure, it's going to be a great game. Look, Patrick Mahomes and Jalen Hurts have played each other once. It was last year in week 3. The Chiefs won 42-30. Mahomes had 5 touchdown passes in that game to 1 interception. Jalen Hurts had 387 passing yards, something we haven't seen a whole lot from him this season. The other thing is the Chiefs had 200 rushing yards in this game, which I don't think anyone expects them to have in this game. They also did have this guy called Tyreek who had 186 yards and 3 touchdowns. So I think both teams have definitely got some new looks since then. But interesting to note that that was the previous matchup they did play in Philadelphia.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about with Hurts having to throw and having a big game. I mean, he had 387, I think you said. I think he could do that again.
Yeah, listen, week 3 is one thing, with Super Bowl is a different thing. And look, we'll see what happens. We'll see who comes up with the goods when the chips get pushed to the middle of the table. Because I know who I got. I got Mahomes. You got Jalen. I don't know if you got Jalen or if you got the Philadelphia defense, but you got the Philadelphia Eagles. So we will see how it goes. But, Gabe, thank you for being with me. We will give you our reactions on Tuesday from the Super Bowl. But, Gabe, thanks again. We will be back shortly for a 10-second break where we will break down the best of the NBA. Gabe, thank you for being with me. Go Chiefs.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me.
Thank you, everyone, for waiting for that short break. But welcome back. We are live here again from South Carolina, and we are talking about the NBA. What a massive week we have had in the NBA with the trade deadline. But not only are we talking about the NBA, I have some more incredible guests with me and a new guest, fresh face to the show. So along with Oscar and Tyson, we are welcoming Gabe Marguglio to the show. Gabe, how are you today?
I'm doing fantastic. How are you guys?
That is good to hear. Gabe is live with us from Melbourne, Australia. The other 2 lads are both in Brisbane. And we have a lot to get into. For those of you who don't know, Gabe, in my opinion, is probably the most loyal Kevin Durant fan I've ever met. So we're gonna ask for his opinion today about the Kevin Durant trade. And this is the first point we're going to talk about. What a shock to myself, at least. I'm not sure about the 3 of you. On the previous episode, Oscar and Tyson and I were talking about how we don't think Kevin Durant's going to get moved. We did talk about some potential scenarios, and I think Tyson claims that he said the Suns. I don't know if we have any footage to corroborate with that, but we might have to go. We might have to go back.
Go back to the tape.
Rewind it.
We'll go back to the tape and film it. But the Brooklyn Nets have completely dismembered their roster. They did get quite the haul for Kevin Durant, though. They got Kevin Durant and TJ Warren. This is the Phoenix Suns. While on the Brooklyn Nets side, they picked up Mikal Bridges, Cam Johnson, and Jay Crowder, who was later traded to the Milwaukee Bucks for 5 second-round picks, which is apparently the cool currency going around in the NBA now.
Yeah.
And they got 4 first-round picks up until 2029, which are all unprotected. Now, the Suns have moved into the title favorites slightly behind the Boston Celtics, who lead the NBA for the title race. And they have a pretty stacked team. 4 players on max contracts, which, in my opinion, has some high expectations for this team. Durant is still out sidelined. He's injured. He won't be back until after the All-Star break. Chris Paul and Devin Booker themselves only came back from injuries recently, so this could be a cause for concern for Phoenix. But, Gabe, as the guest of the show, I will ask you the question first, and Tyson and Oscar will respond. But do you think that Phoenix should now be the title favorites due to Kevin Durant being traded there?
It's either going to be them or Boston. That's the only way I'm looking at it.
Yeah. What about in the
four.
Western? What about in the Western Conference more specifically? Do you think they should be the favorites in the West?
Oh, hell yeah. This trio of Booker, CP3, and KD is going to be something to watch. So I'm excited. Everyone else should be excited. Denver should be scared. That's what I'm going to say.
Yeah, so Gabe's pretty firm that they should be the title favourites. Oscar, Tyson, do you agree? I'll ask Oscar. You can go first on this one.
I think they are. I think adding Kevin Durant to most teams will make them a large contender. So, and people, what's pissing me off is people always say the big three of CP3, Devin Booker, Kevin Durant. What about DeAndre Ayton, who's put in his bloody beautiful minutes for this team? They are a big four. They are not a big three. They are a very good team, and I think they're going to win the championship. They're my new favourites.
Wow, the championship. I don't know about that one. They can't even stay healthy. I don't know how they're going to go win the championship.
Oh yeah, if they stay healthy, they'll be right.
Tyson, do you want to call a title in Phoenix, or are you not buying that?
Well, they've lost their centerpiece, Jay Crowder, who's probably the main man himself. But no, all jokes aside, without a doubt, yeah, you've got Kevin Durant, as you said in
I'd put
in
money
that
on it
interview.
right
What did
now.
he say? What did he say? He's like I'm Kevin Durant. That's who he is.
I'm Kevin
you got-
Durant.
Yeah, you got CP 0 rings. He's a bit old, but he can get there. D Book, bucket. DeAndre Ayton, bucket. I don't see a
Got a
problem there.
good squad, man.
Listen, I think you guys are a little bit too quick to jump on the hype train. This is an
Lucas still has
amazing
the Clippers
trade.
winning it.
This is a,
Yeah. We got Bones Highland now.
No. Listen, in all seriousness, my Clippers are definitely a title threat, but that's not where I'm going with this. Okay, listen, I think as of right now, I don't think Phoenix should be favorited just because we haven't even seen Kevin Durant play a
But
minute
it's Kevin Durant.
in a Phoenix Suns
It
jersey.
doesn't matter.
It's Kevin Durant.
I
You
know
what
it's
he's
Kevin
doing.
Durant.
It doesn't matter.
Listen,
He can go
listen,
to
I know
any
it's-
team.
I know it's Kevin Bleeping Durant. That's why I want him to go to Portland. Be a Dame, not Phoenix. Portland.
Yeah, biggest
What
L
would
take.
Portland doing? That's all I'm
Biggest
saying.
L take.
That's what I'm saying. What would Portland
You had
do?
a shocker.
Portland should
You
have
had a
went all
shocker
in for
our
Kevin
last
Durant.
episode.
They've
No,
got
that was a
Thibault
great
now.
take.
You had a shocker in our
That
last
was a
They've got
great take.
Matisse
Yeah,
Thybulle.
they got Thibault. No, ridiculous.
He's the same thing as
Portland
Kevin
should have went all in. But in all seriousness, guys, Kevin Durant's been injury prone this season. Chris Paul, Devin Booker, they've all been injured this season. We've seen in previous playoff runs where they went to the finals 2 years ago, Devin Booker also picked up a hamstring injury in that series too. So if there's one thing I know is Kevin Durant has had trouble carrying teams when other players are injured. He couldn't do it the other year. They stopped short against Milwaukee when Kyrie was out for the majority of that series. So if one of Chris Paul or Devin Booker goes down, I don't like it for them. And I think that it's very hard to go on a team in the middle of the season and win a
So who
championship.
do you think your favourite?
I do agree that if there's one person who can go onto a team and move in smoothly and efficiently, it's that man, Kevin Durant. Right now, I still have Denver as the favorites in the West until otherwise.
They're so
Until
yucky,
otherwise.
bro.
I think that can change. I think that, look, they're playing the best basketball right now. And I'm not locking in Denver as favorites. I'm simply just saying that I think they should be the favorites right now. They are playing the
So
best basketball in the
do you
Western
still have
Conference.
Boston winning the chip? Who do you have winning the chip?
I never had Boston
Who do
winning
you have?
the chip. I've had
He's got the
Milwaukee winning
Clippers.
the chip since the
He's
start
got the
of the season.
Clippers.
Yeah.
I've had Milwaukee winning the chip since the start of the season. They're on a 9-game win streak right now, and they're actually healthy. So I don't see why you think any other team is better than them right now, in all honesty.
Because it's Kevin Durant.
What, Gabe?
It's Kevin-
Look,
Gabe still got his
Suns
nets.
team- This Suns team.
Gabe's still got his nets winning. Gabe's still got his nets winning.
Yeah, Nets fan no more.
This Suns team, it's chip or bust with this trade. I'm not gonna lie to you.
It's not bust. It's chip
either
or
they get a chip or it's a bust.
It's not bust.
No! Gabe's right, of course it's chip or bust.
It's chip or bust. They've got
Unless
an insane.
a meteor
They have
hits
an
Phoenix.
absolutely insane team, and I'm being honest with you. I reckon they've probably got one of the best, chip runs, lining up for them right now. And Kevin Durant's averaging about 56% from the field, which is the best in his whole career. So,
yeah, it is. Career high.
KD's playing different this year, except for, him being injured.
They've got a great
But-
coach. They've got a great squad. They've got camaraderie there. They've got a great leader in Kevin Durant and CP3.
Do they have great defense?
It doesn't matter.
Great
It
defense?
doesn't matter.
Look,
You don't
look.
need
I think it
defense when you've
does.
got that much
When-
offense.
I think
Look.
I think you need some
Yeah,
defense,
just 'cause-
especially when you got Kawhi and Paul George in the
No.
conference.
Shut up
They're
about your
great
Clippers,
defense.
bro.
You see, CP3, all he has to do is facilitate. And that's all he's going to need to do. He's got two of the best scorers on there. And then we've got DeAndre Ayton. He's starting to, get on a roll, which is lovely to see. As long as CP3 doesn't get injured, I think we'll do pretty bloody well.
Yeah,
I
listen,
love that.
I will agree.
I love how he's saying we already. He's joined already.
I'm in the team, guys. Come on now.
He's got the
Wherever KD goes, I'm there with
He's
him.
got the KD jersey ordered already.
I do. The Valley one. It's already in.
Props to him.
It is a nice jersey, though.
You
It's a
guys
nice
are all
jersey.
pretty sold on Phoenix, so I'm going to ask more a big picture question here. How do you think this run in Brooklyn for Kevin Durant? Obviously, he wanted to leave Golden State, go lead his own team to the title, and it didn't work out. And some of it is partly his fault, some of it is other reasons. Kyrie, James Harden at fault, the Nets organization at fault. There's a lot of factors. But I want to know overall, how do you think that his time in Brooklyn and now being traded to the Phoenix Suns, how does this affect Kevin Durant's legacy? Oscar, I'll go to you first.
I think the Brooklyn Nets experiment was, good on paper. Obviously, you're getting two fantastic players and they're building around you three. It obviously didn't work. His foot was on the line. They lost. And then, it all kind of went to shambles after that. James Harden left. I think he left before that, didn't he? And then Kyrie left. And then this new Phoenix chapter, I think it's good for him. I think it's a team that, obviously on Golden State, he wasn't the guy there. Steph Curry was the guy. On the Nets, he was, but it was a bit topsy-turvy. There was injuries. Kyrie didn't play. It wasn't always 100% that, they were really going to go anywhere. And then I think on this Phoenix team, he's going to be the guy. I think Devin Booker is going to take a tiny step down, and Kevin Durant's going to shine in Phoenix. So, and I hope he does. I really hope he does. And I think his legacy is going to be fine. I think he's one of the best to ever do it. And if they win a championship, wow, that's a good record for KD.
Yeah, Tyson, your response? How do you think this affects Durant's legacy when it all said and done?
Well, I don't think it's a huge jab at his legacy, to be honest. Like, he's still a great player. He's still got other great accolades.
If they win a championship, it's going to bloody.
If they do win, then it can only get better. But if it doesn't, maybe just another diss at him joining a team that's already built. Since they went to the finals.
Yeah, look, but are we really surprised? That's the real question.
No, that's the thing. It's Kevin Durant. We've seen it before.
No,
We've seen it before, so that's why I don't think it's a huge stab at his legacy.
Gabe, you look eager to respond. What are your thoughts?
I'm going to say, Golden State, 2 finals MVPs.
He wasn't the guy on Golden
saying
State.
Steph Curry's the guy.
He wasn't the guy on Golden
He's
State.
going to
Listen,
If he was the guy on Golden
Listen.
State, he'd still be there.
He's going to go to Phoenix, and that finals MVP is coming home. That's what I'm going to say to you. It's coming home.
I'm really glad you brought up the Golden State Warriors, because that's exactly where I was heading with this. Guys, if Kevin Durant goes to Phoenix and can't win a championship, he will be retiring as the guy who couldn't win a championship without Steph Curry. And I don't think Kevin Durant wants that on his legacy. Kevin Durant doesn't want that on his legacy.
He's got 2
He
years
doesn't.
to do
He
it, though.
doesn't
He's got
want
2
that.
years left on his contract.
That's what I mean. Kevin Durant doesn't want to be that guy. You don't want to be that guy who you couldn't do it in Oklahoma. You went to the Warriors, joined a 73-9 team. You got it done. Props to you. You did get it done. You went and with a man on your own team, you couldn't get it done. Not all your fault, but I'd say a decent amount was your fault. You go to another good team and you couldn't get it done. So I don't think, if this doesn't work out for Kevin Durant, I think this is going to look pretty bad on his legacy, personally.
But I don't think it'll even get to that. I just think they're going to win the chip. I think they've already won it.
Maybe. Listen, we are strapped for time, but we can get into another deep dive on our next episode we do, because I think there is a lot more that needs to be said. But we will switch gears to our second topic of the day. The Los Angeles Lakers. Not only did LeBron break the scoring title on Tuesday night against the Oklahoma City Thunder, which was surprising because none of us here actually thought he would break it that night. Everyone thought he would break it on that.
I thought that.
But LeBron, he did do that. Props to him. It was a great game. Unfortunately, they couldn't pull off the win. But following that epic performance, Russell Westbrook shipped off to Utah, and the Lakers made some moves. You know, they did some things, you know, fix some problems. Overall, coming into the team, D'Angelo Russell, Malik Beasley, Jared Vanderbilt, and Mo Bamba. Leaving the team, Russell Westbrook, Thomas Bryant, and Patrick Beverley. Tyson, as the resident Lakers fan on this set, I will ask you, how far do you think this trade can take the Lakers?
You're an idiot.
We're going to the chip.
You're an idiot.
That's it.
Oh!
You're an idiot.
We're going to the chip.
Hot take. Hot take.
No, we have idiots.
Not a hot take.
That's
We've
correct.
We've got the pieces we
and
need.
one of them's named
We've got the
Carson
pieces
Collins.
we need.
Really? D'Angelo Russell is going to take you to a championship?
We've got it. We've got the pieces. We've got shooters now.
You just said
We're
Phoenix
locked
is
and
going to
loaded.
win it.
Yeah, Anthony Davis playing well, bruv.
Well, so you
I
would
said ideal scenario.
You take the Lakers over the Suns in a series, everyone healthy?
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
have idiots.
Yes.
Yeah?
I would.
All right.
Yeah?
Everyone healthy? I would, yeah.
Yeah? Gabe, how far do you think this takes the Lakers? What's their ceiling right now?
I think they just make playing.
Yeah?
I'm not gonna lie to you.
Okay.
Lakers aren't looking good.
Doesn't matter where you start. It's where you
look,
finish.
Thomas Bryant, I don't think they should have given away Thomas Bryant. I don't know how well Mo Bamba's going to fill that
He
spot.
wanted to leave, Thomas Bryant, so I don't think they have much of a choice.
True. But, yeah, I don't know. They got to develop Mo Bamba. They got to develop Vanderbilt. D'Lo knows that. D'Lo in LA, he's going to play well. That's all I'm going to say. Like, he's back home. I reckon he
How did
will.
it go the first time around? I don't know. Has he matured that much?
Oh, yeah.
All I know is as soon as he left LA and went to Brooklyn, he was the man. He carried that team to the playoffs. So I'm excited to see this LA team. I think they're going to be good.
Oh, yeah.
But,
Okay. So good that they'll make the play-in. I don't know how I feel about that one, Gabe. But Oscar, where do you think they go? You think they make it past the play-in?
I'd be surprised if they made the play-in. Right now, they're what are they? A 45%
Really?
team. The percentage is like 45, something like that. They've won 25 games, lost 31, something like that. How far in the next 40 games left, or however many games left? I don't know how many there is. How many are they actually going to win? They've got a step up from D'Angelo Russell, but he was having good production off the bench. Their bench is terrible now. They have Mo Bamba on the team who's averaging like 7 points. He's garbage. They got Jared Vanderbilt who's not going to get him great minutes. They've got D'Lo who's a decent player, but is he that much better than Russell Westbrook? I don't think so. I think he can hit a big shot. He's back in LA, but he's not the guy that he was in Brooklyn. He's not the guy. LeBron and AD are the two guys. They've got a terrible bench. They don't have a great starting lineup. If one of them gets injured, what do you mean
terrible bench?
You've got Max Christie coming off the bench. It's a terrible bench. You've got
He's
Will
our youngest
Gabriel.
player.
It's not a great bench at all. It's not a great bench. It's not deep.
It is a good bench. It
He's got his
is.
Pippins in there as
We've
well.
got
You've
pieces.
got pieces, but
We've got
nothing more than
pieces.
that. You've got a. I think Mo Bamba coming on the team was terrible. I think Jared Vanderbilt, Malik Beasley can hit a shot or two. Like the guy building around these two.
It's not the only thing he can hit.
Building around these two
Awesome.
players that you have, and then adding D'Lo, it was good, but is he going to take you more than the play-in? I don't think so. I really don't.
Listen, I think that D'Angelo Russell is a lot better fit for this team than Russell Westbrook is, and I think that this will allow Schroeder to hopefully go back to the bench and regain some form like he did when he nearly won the Sixth Man of the Year again when he was in Oklahoma. But where do I think this gets them? Look, right now the Lakers are 3.5 games outside of the play-in spot. So that's not easy, okay? Do I see them making it into the play-in? I look who's ahead of them. You have, right now, the Trailblazers, the Warriors, the Timberwolves, and the Pelicans are the 3 teams that are in the play-in tournament right now. But they have the Thunder and the Jazz who are sitting above them, not in the play-in. And both of those teams are 2 full games ahead of them. I see the Lakers making the play-in barely, unless they go on a crazy win streak, which I highly doubt. I don't see it working out. I think it could maybe work out more next season, but how much juice does LeBron have? Maybe more chemistry. Darvin Ham gets another year under his belt. But I think it was good to see at least they were somewhat aggressive and that they seemed committed to trying to build a championship team. But I don't see it working out for them. I think they make the first round. The second round, I can't see them making it past the second round. At the very most, they make the first round, and the Grizzlies, something weird happens, and they've
got to win 2 play-in games first.
I don't think. And that's what. But I think with AD constantly being injured,
AD
and
was
LeBron
crying because he got sat on the bench against OKC in the final minute. He's not happy. You know, there's chemistry issues. The team changes every 5 minutes.
Yeah.
I don't think it's.
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to be good.
Listen, once again, guys, we will get onto this in our next episode. But before we go, I want one word responses only. Where do you want to see Westbrook go if he gets bought out? Oscar, you first. One word, where is he going?
Retirement. Retirement. No, I think. Okay, no, I think
Gabe, Tyson, what do you guys think?
No,
actually, go on, Oscar.
I'd like to see him on like
anything.
No one really fit. Back on OKC, get him back there.
OKC, Gabe, Tyson, what do you think? Gabe, you first. One word. Who you got him going to?
I got 2, but I could see him play for the Bulls.
Go 2. The Bulls?
Bulls or 76ers. I could see that happen.
Okay.
Give him a minimum contract.
Tyson?
2 words.
Yep.
Brisbane Bulls.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I think that would be awesome.
I like that.
Look, there's one thing I know that where he shouldn't go. He better not go to my Clippers. I do not want to see him in a Clippers uniform.
He'd be better than John Wall, that's what I'm going to say.
Look, maybe, but look, guys, we are going to have to cut it there. We will definitely get back into it on next Friday's episode when we can talk about the NBA post-Super Bowl. We will get into all things NBA. We'll get into the Suns. We'll get into the Lakers. We'll go to the Eastern Conference and get into the stuff there. We're going to talk about Jokic and Embiid, who's going to win out of those 2 guys. But, ladies and gentlemen, thank you all for tuning in to episode 20 of Priceless Takes. Make sure you tune in to Tuesday's episode for our post-Super Bowl reactions. There will definitely be some fire and determination. Oh, wow. It's going to be a great Super Bowl, and we will see how it goes. But, Gabe, thank you for joining us on the show. We'll happily have you back again next time. Tyson and Oscar, thank you for being with me. Have a great day, guys. Priceless Takes episode 20, guys. I'm your host, Luka Price. Thank you.